throughout your life.
673-1234. Let's take a call now for Dr. Keith Unger from the Center for Natural Medicine here on the Advice Line. Good morning. You're on WNIR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wasn't sure if that was my beep or not.
Yep. How can I help you?
Well, I wanted to share my perspective as well. I'm actually a physician and wanted to make sure we share with your listeners that you talked about the pharmaceutical companies pushing statins and also hormonal replacements. And you're right, there are some risks with those medications. But, they're not selling them directly. You've got to go to a licensed physician to get them prescribed. So you should talk to your doctor, make sure it's the right medicine for you. And those medicines are good medicines in the right circumstances. You've got to be careful is, a couple more things, and you can cut me off.
No, go ahead.
We've got to be careful that we're not telling half-truths here. We talk about those studies, and they are existent. But then you go to talk about glutens causing an inflammatory response in the GI system. Where's a controlled study ever showing that?
Well, that's not a control study. That's a physiological response.
Show me the proof.
Show you the proof. Well, come to my lecture, and I'll be more than happy to do that, doctor. You're telling me if you don't have a sensitivity to gluten or milk, you won't have an inflammatory response in your gut. That's basic physiology.
You said it's basic physiology that anyone who eats something with gluten in it's going to have an inflammatory response in their gut, and that's just not true. And you're listening.
No, if they're sensitive, I said if they're sensitive to gluten. I did not say everybody who eats it is going to have an inflammatory response. I said those who are sensitive to it are going to have an inflammatory response. Just like if someone's sensitive to soy, you're going to have an inflammatory response in the gut. And it happens about 40 minutes later. Can I ask you a question? How many times have you tested people for food allergies?
Well, I'm not in a specialty where I would do that. I'm an emergency physician, but I did go to 4 years of medical school, and I would like to ask you if you did the same.
No, I went to chiropractic school, and I'm proud of it. And the physiology books are the same in chiropractic school as they are in medical school.
So you did not go to medical school?
No, and I don't have to go to medical school to understand physiology.
You don't need to know that, doctor.
Maybe you
need to know that you don't have the same training and the same knowledge and the same background.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, I got more than you, doctor. Okay, I have more training than you when it comes to natural alternative holistic medicine, and I do lectures to MDs. So why don't you come and learn and expand your horizons a little bit, because you're an emergency room doctor, and emergency room doctors, exactly, a lot of drugs are used in the emergency room, and they save lives. I'm not saying that drugs are bad for people, but when they have to be on them long term and they don't correct the underlying problem, then that's an issue. And people need to know, because these drug companies spend literally billions of dollars in advertising to get them to go ask your doctor about the purple pill.
Well, I'm with you there, because I think the advertising is horrible. But I tell you, we got to be telling full truths and not try to get people to jump into a holistic product that's just like the drug companies advertising. What are you selling?
I'm not selling anything, Doc. These things are. Have you ever heard me sell anything on my radio show? Evidently, you haven't listened to my show very often. I don't sell anything. Everything I do is for educational purposes only, and it's backed up by reference studies and research studies that are there. Those studies I quoted on the Prem-Pro and the Premarin, those are studies that are out there. So those are studies that were done by the medical profession. So, there's two sides to the coin here, and I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm telling people that there's another way to look at your health, and you have the right to be involved in the decision-making process. And I'm not against drugs, so I don't know if this is the first time you tuned in or not. I work with medical doctors all the time and refer patients to actually get antibiotics if they have something major going on. And I work with them to maybe put them on hormone replacement therapy if that's what they need as a last resort. So, I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not like these guys that here where they have these pre-programmed radio shows and they try to sell you a product and try to say this is the best thing since sliced bread. What I do is I look at the patient's chemistry, I look at their physiology, and I balance it out through dietary healthy lifestyle changes, through herbal supplementation, and through vitamins. And I can show you pre- and post-blood tests that what I'm doing is working.
Well, and tell me, where's the controlled study for the herbal remedies that you're recommending? Where are they?
Doc, there's all kinds of them out there. Evidently, you haven't researched them. Pardon me?
I asked for controlled, good quality studies. There's nothing out there that says an herbal remedy. I'm not saying the medicines are great, don't get me wrong, but you're also telling the half-truth that what you're saying is accurate and correct, and it's no more.
Doc, let me ask you a question. Well, let me ask you a question, Doc. There's studies out there. Evidently, you don't read about them because you don't dispense them. So I have more knowledge in that area, and if you'd like to call my office, I can give you some of those studies. And at least you called in. And I appreciate that, because you know what? The ultimate goal here is not what you think or what I think. It's let's get the patient to the outcome that we're trying to get the patient. Whether you do it or I do it or we do it together, it doesn't really matter. But for the doctors out there to say that these things don't work because of the double-blind controlled studies, there's a lot of studies on herbs that are out there, and there's literally thousands of them out there. So they're out there, but you haven't researched that area.
Well, you may not know whether I've researched them or not, but the key is, and what the general public doesn't know, but you can say there's a study that was in Woman's Home Journal or whatever, but you need it to be a quality research article.
Doc, I understand that. I'm not into where somebody just does it and say that, you know, they felt better. There's studies out there, and like I said, if you want to call my office, I'll be more than happy to point you to the study.
I mean, I've looked. What peer-reviewed journal are they in? Are they in the Journal of the American Medical Association? Where are they?
Well, first of all, the Journal of the American Medical Association, number one, some of the studies can be in there. Some of them are in nutrition. Some of them are done in British medical journals. So there's lots of studies out there. Let me refer you to a book, Doc, that was written by one of your colleagues, okay, who's a medical doctor.
Why don't you just tell me one of the peer-reviewed journals that's listed in, and I'll go look, because I don't think there is one. Because the kind of studies you're talking about do not stand up to the scrutiny of peer review.
Well, that's that's what you guys always like to jump up back on, and there's a lot of double-controlled studies now being done, and they're out there. And if you want a great book, it's called Dr. Brownstein wrote it, and the name of the book is Drugs That Don't Work and Natural Therapies That Do. He has literally thousands of references in his book in regards to them, and you can just refer to that book, and you could probably get that. And if you want me to send you a copy, I will send it to you for free.
I guess if you haven't answered the question, then you don't know what journals that there are peer-reviewed.
Doc, I already said they are in the nutritionals. They're in the British medical journals. I meant